It is March 2026. On Wednesday, 18th of March, the Netherlands holds local elections. Every single major party is running on housing. Every single party has promised to build more houses. And every single party has been promising to build more housing since before I arrived in this country. And the houses are not built. This week, 333 municipalities go to the polls. The main issues are housing, livability, tourism pressure, and that's it, just housing, with different fonts. The VVD wants sustainable housing. DSS and Jetten wants inclusive housing. PVV wants housing, but only for certain people, ideally with a border around it. GroenLinks PvdA wants affordable housing, which in Amsterdam means a studio for €1,400 in a building that used to be a parking garage. And they are proud of this. Amsterdam is short roughly 40,000 homes. Den Hague is adding 100,000 new residents in the next 25 years. Rotterdam, a close race with hard choices. Utrecht, housing tops the concern list. Groningen, grappling with growth. Leiden, bursting at the seams. Every city, different headline, same problem for 20 years. At some point, this stops being a housing crisis. At some point, this is just the Netherlands. But the good news is, turnout last time was 46.6% in Amsterdam. The bad news is, the parties have just now realized that the other 53.4%, many of them foreigners, are also allowed to vote. So now they are campaigning in English for the first time. Not because they believe in you, but because they finally need you. Welcome to the Dutch democracy. You matter here exactly as much as your address registration and the size of the electoral deficit. Now the national picture. Rob Jetten became Prime Minister on February 23rd, 3 weeks ago. His cabinet, DSS en Jetten, VVD, CDA, a minority government, which means it needs opposition support for almost everything it wants to do. The previous government, Schoof, PVV, VVD, NSC, BBB, collapsed in June 2025 after 8 months because the PVV left the coalition over asylum policy. Before that, the Rutte IV cabinet collapsed over asylum policy. Before that, Rutte III collapsed over a different thing, but the effect was the same. In most countries, when a government collapses, that is considered a bad thing. Here, it is called forming a new cabinet. It takes 9 months. During those 9 months, the country is run by people who are technically not in charge anymore. And remarkably, nothing changes. Because nothing was changed before either. It's like rebooting a computer that was already frozen. Technically something happened, but the screen went dark for a moment. And then, same screen. The PVV, meanwhile, has been splintering. MPs are leaving, a party built on the promises that you will never have to compromise, discovering that governing actually requires compromise, and responding to this discovery by leaving. I respect the commitment to the bit. Now I want to say something about this country that I don't think anyone has said clearly enough. The Netherlands has a system, the polder model it's called, built on the idea that everyone gets a seat at the table. Businesses, labor, government, consensus. Consensus, compromise, no one gets everything and everyone gets something. It is presented as the reason the Netherlands works. And for a long time, it did work. The polder model built the welfare state, the social contract, the livable cities. But here is the thing about a table where everyone gets a seat. Someone decides who gets invited. And the people currently waiting for a house, the people watching price jump 30% at the pump, the civil servants on the Nullijn, they are not at the table. They are outside, being told the table is very full. And the decision will be made in the commandeperiode. It's like being invited to the restaurant, watching everyone else order, and being told the menu is under consultation. The waiter smiles, he's very sorry. It is a very good menu, you just can't see it yet. On March 3rd, 165,000 Dutch civil servants went on strike. One day, nationwide. Duo, tax office, immigration, customs, prisons, roads. Their demand is wage increase, and the government's offer was zero. Not a small increase, not an increase pending review, zero. In Dutch, this is called the Nullijn, the zero line. It is, I have to say, a very Dutch word for a very Dutch concept. We have decided you will receive nothing and then have given this nothing a proper administrative name. It's like being fired, but they call it a career pause and expect you to show up on Monday with a smile. FNW official Marcelle Buitendam put it simple. She said civil servants are the people who keep the Netherlands running every day. They ensure safe roads, guard prisons, control borders, and process benefits, allowance, and permits. And what do they get for this? Her words, stank for dank, stands for thanks. I want to be precise. The previous collective bargaining agreement gave civil servants 8.5%, plus €50 a month, plus a one-time inflation payment. This government looked at all of that and said, yes, that is correct. And now, zero. Their reasoning is budget discipline. The same budget that cannot find money for wages found money for nitrogen compensation, for farmer buyouts, for defense upgrades. And starting January 2026, a reduction in motor vehicle tax to encourage electric vehicles. So the electric vehicle subsidy and the civil servant wage freeze are in the same budget. I just want you to hold that. Students briefly celebrated the duo strike. Then they realized the striking workers were from the loan forgiveness department. So the celebration ended. The students filed an appeal. The appeal was processed by a different department, which actually also was on strike. The minister responsible for the civil service was asked to respond to this strike. He said the government has structural appreciation for civil servants. And when someone asked what structural appreciation looks like in euros, there was no answer, which mathematically is also zero. The Nullijn has a spiritual dimension. It is not just about wages. It is about the belief that the people who run the country can always be asked to do more for less, because they are public servants. And public servants serve the public, and the public has gotten very used to being served. The system is the people who hold it up. And every year it calls that arrangement structurele waardering. On Sunday, March 9th, Prime Minister Jetten appeared on Nieuwsuur. He was asked about the fuel prices. Gasoline €2.39 per liter. Diesel €2.44, a record. He said he was monitoring the situation, and he said he saw no reason yet to cut fuel taxes. The interview aired on Sunday. On Monday morning, prices jumped another 30%. Now I want to be fair. The government had already extended the fuel tax reduction once, until January 2026. Then they ended because a Christian Uni MP pointed out that the €448 million per year could instead save rural bus lines, which it could. This is a real trade-off. That is a real problem. I'm not saying Jetten is wrong. I'm saying he went on television, said no reason yet, and the price went up 30% the next morning. This is what it feels like to be governed. Not malice, not conspiracy, not a villain in a bunker. Just a man, on camera, calm, measured, saying no reason yet. While across the country, commuters, delivery drivers, small business owners, home care workers calculating their next shift and doing the math. Dutch petrol prices are rising more sharply than in neighboring countries. Belgians and Germans near the border are reporting long lines of Dutch cars filling up on the other side. The Dutch consumer, unable to find an affordable house, is now also driving to another country to buy fuel. At some point, this is less of a policy failure and more of a concept. And Jetten said, it is impactful when a faraway war leads to higher prices at the pump at home. He said this in a convoy. He was being driven. Let me tell you what is going to happen next week. After the votes are counted on Wednesday, every winning party will hold a press conference. They will say, the people have spoken. They will say, now the real work begins. They will say, housing is our absolute priority. And then nothing will be built. Because here is the thing about Dutch politics that no one in Dutch politics will say it out loud. The system is not broken. The system is working exactly as designed. It is designed to consult, to deliberate, to form working groups and steering committees and interdepartmental task forces that report back in Q3 with preliminary findings and recommend a follow-up study by Q1 of the following year. It is not designed to build 40,000 houses. It is not designed to give civil servants a raise. It is not designed to act when a prime minister says no reason yet and the price goes up 30% the next morning. It is designed to manage the distance between those two things, the promise and the reality. With enough process, enough procedure, enough patient institutional language, that by the time you realize nothing happened, it is already time for the next election. And there will be next election. There is always the next election. I have been watching this country govern for 9 years. The houses are not built. The wages are not raised. The roads are not maintained. The people who maintain them are tanked with zero. And every election cycle, every party tells you, this time we are serious. Every election cycle, I watch the same seriousness produce the same result. On Wednesday, you can vote. You can vote for the party that promises housing, or the other party that promising housing, or the party that promises housing but also promises to be angry about that in a more satisfying way. You can mark your stamp card and feel briefly that you have done something. I'm not telling you not to vote. I'm just telling you I've been watching them count the votes for 9 years, and I'm still waiting for the house.